Once dismissed as a disaster-prone backwater, Bangladesh is now one of Asia's fastest-growing economies. In just 2 decades, it has gone from floods and factories to billion-dollar ports and tech parks. In real terms, Bangladesh's GDP has grown more than threefold since 2000. Exports are surging, and global investors are taking notice. But here's the real shocker. It's now beating some of its richer neighbors in textiles, software, and even shipbuilding. Its shipyards have delivered vessels to clients in Germany, Denmark, and the UAE. A remarkable feat for a country that built almost none just 20 years ago. This isn't luck. It's the product of vision-driven leadership, strategic investment, and a tireless, skilled workforce. From billion-dollar mega projects to a digital revolution unfolding in real time, something massive is happening here. So how did this once overlooked country flip the script? And what does it mean for the rest of the world? Let's break it down. In 1971, Dhaka's streets burned during a brutal war of independence, and famine stalked the Delta months later. Henry Kissinger called the newborn country a bottomless basket, while sympathetic economists doubted Bangladesh could feed itself. Yet hardship forged a stubborn will to survive. Farmers coaxed 3 rice harvests from the same paddy, and Professor Muhammad Yunus funneled tiny loans through Grameen Bank, so village women could buy sewing machines, cows, and schoolbooks. By 1990, net primary enrollment had doubled, and female literacy climbed towards 75%. Long before partition and rifles, the Delta dazzled the world with Dhakai muslin, a cotton so fine that a 6-yard sari could pass through a ring. 17th century merchants from London to Istanbul paid fortunes for this cloth. That heritage of textile skill never vanished. It simply waited for capital and stability to return. The big pivot, however, grew from a humble fibre. British traders coined the term golden fibre for jute, yet plastic sacks wiped out demand. Local mill owners kept the sheds humming and retooled them. Low wages, abundant labour, and a rising female workforce turned spinning halls into lines of sewing machines. In 1978, Desh Garments sealed a trading pact with Daewoo, flying 130 Bangladeshis to Seoul to master lean manufacturing. They returned, resigned, and founded workshops. Today, their commercial heirs operate more than 5,000 export units, employing 4 million people. Public policy caught up with grassroots ingenuity in the 1990s. The government introduced high-yield Aman and Boro rice, subsidized tube wells to drain monsoon fields, and capped fertilizer prices. Output more than tripled, reaching 38.7 million tons in 2023, compared with 11.8 million tons in 1972. Meanwhile, launched in 2009, the Digital Bangladesh Initiative laid the foundation. In the following decade, services like biometric IDs and online land records brought that vision to life. Civil society amplified the turnaround. BRAC, founded in a rural village in 1972, has grown into the largest NGO on earth, serving 110 million people through schools, health clinics, and legal aid. Vaccination drives slashed child mortality from 205 per 1,000 births in 1980 to 27 in 2022. Even the elements taught lessons. The 1970 Bola cyclone claimed an estimated 300,000 lives, while a storm of similar power, Cyclone Sidr, took fewer than 3,500 lives in 2007, thanks to early warnings and 4,000 cyclone shelters. Disaster management became a template for community action and data-driven policy. Between 1991 and 2022, the poverty rate crashed from 44% to just 5%. Average per capita GDP ballooned from $285 to more than $2,500. Adversity proved a powerful teacher, but the next lesson unfolds on roaring assembly lines where fabric turns to fortune. That industrial heartbeat is exactly where we are heading now. Step inside Ghazipur's industrial zone and feel the roar. More than 4 million workers, 70% of them women, cut and stitch through the night. They power a supply chain that pushed ready-made garment exports to $47.38 billion in 2023. Cost alone does not explain the scale. The true advantage is speed. A Zara order placed on Tuesday can leave Chattogram on Friday, thanks to warehouses and a customs portal clearing containers in 6 hours. After the 2013 Rana Plaza collapse, Accord and Alliance audits upgraded more than 2,000 plants. 90% now meet global safety codes. Automation is the new frontier. Dhaka University built Sobots trim fabric waste 12% and lift output 20%, protecting margins as wages rise. Factories are climbing the value ladder, shipping technical sportswear and recycled yarn at premium prices. The government's strategic vision targets $100 billion in apparel exports by 2030, banking on rooftop solar and hydrogen boilers to satisfy tougher European climate rules once duty-free access ends in 2026. Education keeps pace. More than 350 vocational colleges teach fashion merchandising, CAD design, and industrial engineering. A new national skill development policy links course funding to export goals, ensuring classrooms evolve with buyer demands. Bangladesh may look crowded, yet its most valuable export is people. At Gulf airports, Sylheti and Noakhali accents echo as migrants activate SIM cards before boarding buses to job sites. According to the Migration Policy Institute, a record 1.3 million citizens signed overseas contracts, while workers wired home $21.9 billion in 2023. Remittances equal roughly 5% of GDP. Funds arrive by app, flow into family accounts, and finance brick houses, tractors, and private tutoring. Bangladesh Bank studies show remittance households invest 30% more in education than similar families. Migration doubles as training. Electricians learn wiring in Doha. Baristas polish English in Kuala Lumpur. Nurses master ventilators in Riyadh. Then many return to open clinics or cafes. The domestic labour pool stays young. Median age is just 26 years, 4 years below India and a decade younger than China. Technical institute enrollment exceeds 2 million, with female participation rising fast. Smartphone penetration tops 80%, fueling suburban coffee shops and ride-hailing gigs. Policy sweetens the loop. Returning migrants receive fast-track business licenses and a 2% bonus on official remittances. These global-trotting citizens crave the infrastructure they saw abroad. Highways without bottlenecks, power that never flickers, and trains that glide above traffic. The country is already pouring steel and concrete to meet those expectations, as you will see next. When the 6.15-kilometer Padma Bridge opened in 2022, ferries became history. Economists forecast the span will raise national output by 1.2% each year, adding nearly $5 billion annually. Far south, the Karnapuli Tunnel narrows beneath the estuary in Chattogram. It is South Asia's first under-river road, set to double port throughput and cut Dhaka to Cox's Bazar trips by 40 minutes. Above ground, Dhaka's MRT Line 6 now stretches 21.26 kilometers and carries 400,000 passengers daily. Extensions will push it past 28 kilometers by 2026, while 4 additional lines move through planning. A dedicated bus rapid transit corridor shadows the airport road, linking tarmac to train seats. Power shortages are fading. The Raipur nuclear plant will add 2,400 megawatts in 2026, enough for 18 million homes. Solar parks in Mymensingh already span 600 hectares, feeding 300 megawatts to the grid, while floating arrays glide across Kaptai Lake. Air and sea complete the map. Hazrat Shah Jalal Airport's third terminal will triple passenger capacity in 2025, creating a hub between Dubai and Singapore. Southward, Matabari Deep Seaport is dredging a 16-meter channel for Panamax vessels and installing LNG berths. Trucks, trains, planes, and ships now move faster than ever. But money and data are moving faster still. Bangladesh's economy increasingly flows through smartphones. 80 million users tap the bKash app monthly, moving 3.84 trillion Bangladeshi takas, around $32 billion in 2024. Banks mine these data trails to improve microloans in under a minute. Government rides the same rails. Farmers get fertilizer subsidies via mobile money, and flood alerts hit phones in seconds. 9,000 union officers register births online. World Bank surveys estimate these services saved citizens 40 million working hours in 2023, creating an extra $300 million in productivity. A new export class is booming. Dhaka's software revenue climbed 18% in 2024 to $2.4 billion. Gaming studios in Mirpur now hire graduates who once eyed migration. Startups like Pathao, now valued in the hundreds of millions, are testing drone delivery by delivering medicine to remote river islands. Speed matters. Fiber optic crews laid 5,000 kilometers of cable in a year, pushing average broadband prices to just $2 a month. Facebook's Subsea Asia Connect cable lands in Cox's Bazar next year, boosting bandwidth by 30%. Authorities respond with a Tier 4 data center in Ghazipur. Biometric eKYC linking SIMs to national IDs, and a draft privacy act inspired by Europe's GDPR. Passing it could unlock larger contracts from Fortune 500 clients seeking secure but affordable talent. The rules of this digital game will be shaped by policymakers juggling rising seas and a looming graduation from the UN's least developed list. Graduation day is set. On the 24th of November 2026, Bangladesh will exit the UN list of least developed countries. The move promises cheaper borrowing but ends some duty-free perks. Policymakers aim to compensate with trade deals and sharper competitiveness. Climate resilience shadows every negotiation. 40% of Bangladeshis live within 10 meters of sea level, and according to government and World Bank estimates, floods may cost the economy up to 2% of GDP annually. The Bangladesh Delta Plan 2100, a $37 billion blueprint with 80 projects from cyclone shelters to river dredging, claims growth can stay above 8% into the 2040s if fully funded. Energy security is rising too. Rupa's reactors are just the start. Dhaka targets 40% renewable power by 2041 with solar, offshore wind, and green hydrogen imports. Its first sovereign green bond raised $500 million in 48 hours. Risks persist: high inflation, shrinking reserves, and political uncertainty. But if current trends hold, Bangladesh's GDP could hit $1 trillion by 2035, rivaling South Korea. From bloodshed to billion-dollar factories, from remittance corridors to fiber-optic cables, Bangladesh has rewritten its fate. The only question now is how high this rising tide of opportunity can lift a nation once counted out. Do you think Bangladesh has what it takes to challenge the economic giants of Asia, or is this boom just a bubble? Let us know below, and if you want more stories that uncover the world's unexpected powerhouses, hit that like button and subscribe.